Hello.
Hello. So that's perfect for buttons, and maybe she'll settle there, and I'll leave her there just for a minute, because I've got something rather extraordinary I want to show you. It's this model. I've often heard of a boat in a bottle, but I've never heard of a man in a bottle, and that's what you've got here. An old sailor who, in fact, is bottling something himself. This model was made by Mr. Bartley of Westbury-on-Trim, near Bristol, and he's called it a bottler's nightmare, and a nightmare it really is, because the bottler inside the bottle is making a model of a steam paddle boat, and he's got his hand stuck in the bottle that he's putting his model into. And you can see the steam paddle boat there upside down in the bottle. And the nightmare gets worse because in the main bottle, you'll see that there's a giant lobster down there, there's a giant crab got in there, and a giant turtle down at that end there. So it really is a nightmare, and obviously the fellow in his bottle, you can see his eyes popping out there, he's not too happy about it. And I don't really know how Mr. Bartley managed to make this, because he had to get no less than 20 different separate carved pieces of wood inside this bottle, and you can see that the end of the bottle here really is very small, just a few centimetres wide, so it was quite a difficult job doing that. In addition to which, the only tool he used to assemble it once it was inside was a piece of bent wire like this. I think it's quite remarkable, and it's really amazing what you can do with a piece of bent wire. Well, what Mr. Bartley was able to do with his bent wire was good enough to earn him a silver medal at the Model Engineering exhibition that's on in London at this very moment at the Seymour Hall.
Thank you, Peter. Nice flares, by the way. Right, let's move forward 30 years and have a look at this wonderful bottle collection in HD. Starting with this one right here, the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. So, made in 1950, we have a hand-carved rabbit, we have some lovely buttercups on one side and daisies on the other. A pocket watch. Now in 1951, Mr. Bartley wrote a book. Up to the early 1950s, the practice of this particular art has been mainly restricted to the bottling of ships, this being due to the systems used. Greatly encouraged by a friend, the late L.P. Allen, Esquire of Southey House, Westbury-on-Trim, who took a personal interest in his work during the experimental period, and after 2 years evolved a geometrical system which was so advanced that practically any subject may be designed and bottled. Here is Alice in Wonderland with the caterpillar on the top, smoking a bong, probably a shisha to be honest, but looks like a bong to me. Again, Alice is half hand carved in wood, along with the mushroom and the caterpillar. With the message, "Who are you?" said the caterpillar. And now we move on to Rumpelstiltskin. This is one of my most favourite childhood pieces, a magnetic model made in sections and inserted through the 1-inch diameter bottle. It's mounted on a brass framework and the figures were carved in wood, and the 52 miniature playing cards were hand painted. It took many months to complete. RFC Bartley, Westbury-on-Trim, Bristol, October 1973. Alice in Wonderland through the bottleneck. Now the remarkable thing about this model is that, as it says, it was magnetic, and my grandfather used to place this matchbox to the side of it. As you can see, we have a little bit of movement there. Unfortunately not a great deal anymore. I think all the parts have seized up. Now I think this is one of the first magnetic bottles that my grandfather did. It's a magnetic model that was shown on working on BBC TV 7th December 1971. It was played in and out with the signature tune of the Magic Roundabout, and the model was also shown on HTV on January the 17th 1972, and I guess you've guessed it by now that it is in fact roundabout. Now unfortunately this one doesn't turn anymore. The parts are completely seized up, unfortunately, but I guess I would have done after so long, after what, 50 years? So let's give that a very gentle turn and then we can see. So we have Dougal, can't remember, Florence there, Brian, Zebedee, Dylan, and back to Dougal. And this one of course was a magnetic model made and inserted through the bottleneck by Mr. RFC Bartley of Bristol in approximately 500 hours. It took him to make that. Absolutely remarkable. Of course we have the bottler's nightmare. His hand stuck in the bottle. There's the crab. There's the lobster. And he's also got a turtle crawling up his back. Thank you for watching Models in Bottles by RFC Bartley. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more Models in Bottles, where we'll be taking a look at the HMS Belfast, the Cutty Sark and HMS Victory, to name but a few. Thank you.